Okay, so good afternoon, sir. Okay, when it comes to the illustration number 28, wait, yeah, illustration number 28. From the following, you are required to calculate material cost variance, material price variance, material usage variance. So you already recorded illustration number 16, na? Not recorded in notes, huh? Okay, good, fine. So first problem we want to discuss, illustration number 28. Now read the question, ma. So requirement is material cost variance, material price variance, material usage variance. Okay. Quantity of material purchased 3000 units. Value of material purchased 9000. Can I name it is called average quantity into average price? Which one? 3000 or 9000? Okay. What about that 3000? Can I name it is called average quantity? Average quantity? Yes or no? Average quantity is a wrong answer. The average quantity, sorry, not average quantity, actual quantity is a wrong answer. Why it is not a actual quantity means purchased, but here you have to use usage or consumption raw material. Usage or what raw material ma? Consumption raw material. Guys, clear? That's why we can't say this 3000 units is the average quantity unless the adjustment. So you already know the adjustment. Opening stock plus purchase equals to consumption plus closing stock. Yes or no? This is the equation we used in raw material budget. Opening stock of raw material plus purchases that equivalent to consumption plus closing stock. What you want, you can figure out as a question mark. If you want consumption, fill up the remaining opening stock and purchases and closing stock. You will get a balancing figure, consumption. If you want in a opening stock, fill the remaining values. You will get a purchase is a balancing figure. Yes or no, ma? Okay, done. Now, the standard quantity of material required for 1 ton of finished product require how many units, ma? 25 units. 1 ton equals to 25 units is required. Next, standard rate of material. Can I name this called standard price? Opening stock of material nil, 0. Purchases we already observed 3000. Next, closing stock of material 500. Now the question mark is what, ma? Consumption. That is only AQ, na? Now please tell me the AQ. 3000 minus 500, that equivalent to 2500 units. This is the way to find out AQ. Why? What's the problem? Now, generally, as per material budget, raw material usage plus closing stock plus opening stock, you will get raw material purchase. Now you have reverse calculation. It means you have raw material purchase. For this will be opposite reflection, minus plus. Are you guys clear? Huh? Okay, done. Now, finished production during the period 80 tons. Now I already have AQ. How much more AQ? 2500. AP 9,000 divided by 3,000. 3,000 or 2,500? 9,000 divided by 3,000 or 2,500? 2,500 is the wrong answer. They said value material purchased. The purchased value is 9,000. Now if you want purchase price, you need to divide it with purchase quantity, not usage quantity. And 9,000 then value. Usage value or purchase value. Now if you divide with purchase units only. Guys, clear? Now answer 3 rupees. Okay. Standard price also I know. What is the standard price, ma? 2 rupees. Now when it comes to the standard quantity is a question mark. Please tell me the standard quantity, ma. Now they provided a clue. 1 ton equals to 25 units. Now what about the finished production? 80 tons. Now 80 tons equals to how much units is required? 2,000. That is your standard quantity. Now standard quantity is how much, ma? 2,000 units. Now all information is there. Shall I find out this ABC? What's the illustration number? I said already, when you are doing a calculation of standard costing, first you have to prepare a cost card. This is called material cost card. So we have only one type of raw material. That's why I'm not using a column called types of material. So come to the standard price. First fill up the given information. Standard price, please. 2 rupees per unit. Actual quantity is there. Now what is the meaning for actual quantity? Purchased or consumption? Purchase or consumption? Consumption. But they provided what, ma? Purchase. Now purchase units, please. 3,000 minus closing plus opening. You will get consumption. So actual quantity is how much, ma? 2,500. Now actual price means what, ma? Actual cost divided with purchase units. 9,000 divided by 3,000. Now per unit how much, ma? 3 rupees. When it comes to the standard quantity, what is the clue they given, ma? 1 ton equals to 25 units is requirement. For actual output 80 tons, how many units is needed? 2,000 units. Guys, clear? For everything we have to maintain at actual output only. Are you okay? Now, material cost variance. Don't use shortcuts, use full forms in exam. Material cost variance. Don't use MCV. So how to calculate material cost variance? Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Now you already know the values. Standard quantity, please. 2,000 units. Standard price 2 rupees. Actual quantity 2,500. Actual price 3 rupees. Answer 4,000 minus 7,500. The answer. Now what is the meaning for 3,500 adverse as per subject? The estimated cost of raw material is 4,000, but you actually spended 7,500. You spended over or less? Over. The over cost leads to decreasing profit. The decreasing profit leads to adverse reason. Subject. Guys, clear? So I planned for that production of 80 tons is 4,000 rupees of material cost. But what is the reality? 7,500. You spended 3,500 rupees extra. More cost, less profit, adverse. Are you okay now? What are the next variance we have to check, ma? Material. How to calculate material price variance, ma? First, we have to figure out difference between the prices. Standard price minus actual price. Now I have to multiply with quantity, it will convert as a cost. Now which quantity I have to consider? Why actual quantity? Purchase manager knows only actuals. Do you understand the clarity, ma? Now standard price, please. Actual price. Actual quantity. Now see, the planned per unit raw material is 2 rupees. But you purchased it. But 1 rupee you paid extra, na? Loss only, na? Loss leads to adverse. The answer? 2,500 adverse. Purchase manager is responsible for 2,500 rupees. Material usage variance. Usage means difference between what, ma? Quantities. Standard quantity minus actual quantity. Why standard price? Production manager knows only standards, estimates, not actuals. Now what about the standard quantity? Actual quantity? Now see the subject. For manufacturing of 80 tons of actual output, you have to use 2000 kgs. But you used 2500. You used 500 kgs of raw material extra, na? Extra raw material leads to extra cost. Extra cost leads to less profits. Less profit leads to adverse reason. Are you got it? Logic, nana? Now standard price how much, nana? 2. Answer? 1000 adverse. What is the reconciliation? Usage plus price. You will get cost variance. Now usage 1000 adverse. Usage 1000 adverse. Price 2500 adverse. Summation 3500 cost variance. Are you okay now? Clear? Now, here is the next discussion. Do you understand the single raw material case? Okay. When it comes to the more than one raw material is given in the question paper. So, if more than one raw material is given, you have to figure out 5 variances. Material cost variance, material usage variance, material price variance, material mix variance, material yield variance. Okay. Now I will give a clarity why these two came, because of more than one raw material. Okay. Now see, standard quantity, standard price, actual quantity, actual price. 10, 20, 1, 2, 15, 20, 2, 1. Guys, clear? Now, production manager mistake is how much? 1000. I asked production manager first. Purchase manager mistake how much? I asked purchase manager why 2500 adverse. He said, sir, due to lockdown, due to demand of the raw material, due to strikes, raw material prices are increases in the reality. That's why the 2500 adverse reason is came. It is uncontrollable. That's why I can't do anything. That is the explanation by a purchase manager. As a top level management, are you agree or not? Yes, you will agree. You need to agree. You need to agree. Then you have to say, next time don't repeat this mistake. Next time consider that things also. When you're planning, you have to consider that things also. Next time you have to plan proper purchase values. Completed. Now when it come to production manager, we asked why the 1000 adverses came. Because in his hands only now. Yes or no? Now he said that, sir, I said inputs you have to use 1:2 ratio. You have to use 1:2 ratio. But they're used 1.5:2 ratio. What is the actual ratio? 15:20 means 1.5:2 only, na? Generally, what mix you have to follow? 1 kg of A, this is A, this is B. 1 kg of A, 2 kg of B you have to follow. But reality what you followed? 1.5 kgs of A, 2 kgs of B you used. Because of 0.5 extra units used in A, na? That's why this 1000 rupees adverses came. My point of view, I said correct only. But the person who used in a raw material, they mixed it wrongly. Are you guys clear? So if you want a proper output, you go with the standard mix. So what the mix there followed in standard point of view, that is the reflected in actuals point of view also. If actual is not followed as per this 1:2 ratio, the variance will come as a usage variance. Are you okay? Okay, sir. Now they wrongly mixed, na? 1:2 ratio is got to 1.5:2. Now how I change this means, you have to create another column name called revised standard quantity. Revised standard quantity. What is the full form for standard quantity? Standard quantity for actual output, right? Now the full form for revised standard quantity equals to actual input in standard mix. Actual input in standard mix. Now please total this. 15 plus 20. 35. This is known as what, ma? Actual input. You have to fix this actual input in which ratio? 1:2 ratio. Now revised standard quantity of A equals to 35 into 1/3. What, ma? 11 point. Now B, 35 into 2/3. 23 point. Now the total 35 only, na? Now you can check with this ratio. This is 1:2 ratio only. (11.6 is to 23.33). What ratio? 1 2 1:2. Sir, clear, sir? Any doubt on this? This is the concept came into the picture. When this revised standard quantity will came, only one material or more than one material? More than one material. Now material cost variance, please. Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. This cost variance is split into two, na? What are the two? Material usage variance, material price variance. Now please tell me the material price variances. Standard price minus actual price into actual quantity. Usage variance, please. Full equation. Are you got it? Now the usage again split into two. The mix issue came where? Usage point of view, price point of view. Usage point of view. Now mix and yield also responsible of whom? Production manager. Do you understand, ma? Now material mix variance, material yield variance. material mix variance and material yield variance. Now revised standard quantity minus actual quantity. Why mix is difference came ma? Mix difference because of standard quantity actual quantity or actual quantity versus revised standard quantity. Revised standard quantity, there is a no concept of standard quantity. Revised standard quantity minus actual quantity. Now we have to multiply with price na. For getting a rupees, what price? Why standard price? Mix also part of the production manager hand under standard price. Now what is the full formula? Revised standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into standard price. Are you okay? Clear? Now this is called what variance ma? Material mix variance. The next one, material yield variance. Material yield variance. What does it mean for yield? Yield talks about output. Yield talks about output. Now the standard quantity minus revised standard quantity into standard price. This is a balancing figure formula. Balancing figure formula. Now what the balancing figure formula means? Please formula creation. Standard quantity into standard price minus revised standard quantity into standard price. Now material usage variance equals to material mix variance plus material yield variance. Material usage variance equals to material mix variance plus material yield variance. Now what is the material mix variance? Revised standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into standard price plus yield variance, standard quantity into standard price minus revised standard quantity into standard price. Now see what happened. Cancel. What is the pending? Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into standard price. Please tell me usage formula. Usage formula. Standard quantity into standard price. Are you guys same only na? Now this is called balancing figure formula. Are you okay? Speed up. How to calculate cost variance? Standard cost minus actual cost. Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Price variance. Standard price minus actual price into actual quantity. Usage variance. Standard quantity into standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Here usage variance is again further classified into two. When if there is a more than one raw material, if there is a single raw material, usage is sufficient. If there is a more than one raw material, usage variance split into two: material mix variance, material yield variance. How to calculate material mix variance? Instead of standard quantity, we are considering revised standard quantity. Revised standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Now the balancing figure for the equating the usage variance, we are considering yield variance. Standard quantity minus revised standard quantity into standard price. Are you okay? Any doubts? Clear? 5 concepts okay? If you know these 5 concepts, you can crack any of the problem regarding to the material variance. Doing the problems, you will get more clarity about the calculation part. Now, open first problem. I think this problem we already finished. Up to usage, up to usage we already finished. So I will rewrite again this. Problem number? Question explanation is, I think, no needed. Why? Because we already discussed in previous class. Cost code, materials, standard quantity, standard price, actual quantity, actual price. One material, more than one raw material. So you have to take a new column name called revised standard quantity. If it's a single raw material, is not needed. If it's more than one raw material, you have to consider new column called what ma? Revised standard quantity. Are you clear? Now how many materials ma? Two materials are A, B. So A, B total is known as what ma? Input. From input, if you remove loss, you will get what ma? Output. Now what output I have to consider, standard output or actual output? For what? For both. Standard quantity you need actual output, for actual quantity also you need a actual output. Now what is the actual output ma? 360 kgs. So fill up the given information first. Available information fill up first. Actual quantity 180 kgs, 220 kgs. Actual price 18 rupees, 34 rupees. Next, standard price is there. Now what is the standard price? 20, 30. Standard quantity is not there, standard mix percentage is there. Are you okay? Now come here. I said already, you can calculate input, apply percentage directly, or you can go with the logic called, they said loss 10%, right? What about the input? 100%. 100% minus 10%, you will get output 90%. Now output 90% equal to 360 kgs. What about the input? 400 kgs, sir. Standard input, that equivalent to 360 kg into 100 divided by 90, yeah? Or go with the calculation like this also. 90% 360 kgs. For 100 kgs, how much? Now what about the standard input ma? 400 kgs. Now 400 kgs is a standard input. Output is 360 kgs. The gap how much kgs ma? That is called loss. 10% okay ba? Loss 10% on input. Are you clear? Now standard quantity equals to 400 kgs into 40%. 160 kgs sama? 400 kg into 60%. 240 kgs. 400 okay? Okay. Now you can calculate alternative calculations also there. If you equate to 360, you go with the 360 into 40 divided by 90, not 100. Okay. Now AQ ma. Total input 400 kgs plus 40 kgs. Now what is the full form for RSQ? What is the meaning for RSQ? Full form is revised standard quantity. What is the meaning? Actual input in standard mix. Are you okay? Now 400 kg into 40%, 400 kg into 60%. If percentage is not there, at the time how to calculate ma? Percentage is not there. At the time, simple. 400 into 160 divided by 400. 400 input into 240 divided by 400. Clear? Now the answer 160, 240. Now you can observe material cost variance. Material cost variance. Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Here not one material is there. You have two materials. Go with the two. Sum is known as total. For A, 160 into 20. B, values please. 40 adverse. 240 adverse. 280 adverse. Total. Material price variance. Standard price minus actual price into actual quantity. Standard price A, 20 minus 18, 1. B, 30 minus 34, 220. Answers 360. Favorable, huh? Okay. 880. Net. Next. For A, 160 minus B, 240 minus 220. B, net. Reconciliation completed. Okay. Next. Material mix variance. Revised standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Revised standard quantity please. A, 160 minus 180. B, 240 minus 220. What ma? 400. Okay. Net 200. Material yield variance. Standard quantity minus revised standard quantity. Standard price. For A, standard quantity 160 minus 160. B, Now material mix variance plus material yield variance, you will get reconciliation of material usage variance. Two reconciliations is there. What is the cost variance reconciliation? Price plus usage. What is the usage reconciliation? Mix plus yield. Mix plus yield. Okay. Any doubt regarding this material cost variance? This is about total material cost variance. Are you okay? Next. Illustration number 29. Single material, more than one material. 3 variances or 5 variances? 5. What are the 5 variances? Material cost variance, material price variance, material usage variance, material mix variance, material yield variance. Clear? First you have to prepare cost card. What are the elements in the cost card? Standard quantity, standard price, actual quantity, revised standard quantity. Actual quantity and actual price, revised standard quantity. If you have this, you can easily answer. Are you guys clear? Now read the question, ma. The standard cost of one of the products of a company shows the following standards. Materials A, B, C. Quantity 40, 10, 50. Price 76, 50, 20. The standard input mix 100 kg and the standard output finished product is 90 kg. Now the standard input is how much, ma? 100 kg. The output is 90. Yeah? What about the loss? 10 kgs. Okay. But I don't want for 90 kg. I want for what? Output. Actual output. This is a proportion they given. Inputs 100 kgs. Output 90 kgs. Okay. The actual output is how much? 4,18,500 kgs. Now we will get a total standard quantity. You will get what, ma? Total standard quantity. Out of the total standard quantity, 40 divided by 100 A, 10 divided by 100 B, 50 divided by 100 C. Clear? So if you understand calculation of standard quantity, problem is over. Okay, cool. I will explain. Now come to the actual results. Actual quantity, actual quantity, actual quantity, actual price, actual price, actual price, standard price, standard price, standard price. The missing two things, standard quantity and revised standard quantity. If I know the standard quantity, then only I can calculate revised standard quantity. If I don't know the standard quantity, I can't. Are you clear now? Yes or no? Okay, fine. Now see, actual output is how much, ma? 4,18,500 kgs. See the logic what they said. For 100 kg of A, B, C input, A plus B plus C input, 100 kgs, they can produce 90 kgs of finished good. Now for 4,18,500 of actual output, how many kgs is required? 4,65,000 kgs of standard quantity is required. Now in this 4,65,000 kgs, A is there, B is there, C is there. Now into 40 divided by 100. 1,86,000 kgs. That is called what, ma? A standard quantity. Now out of this 4,65,000 total kgs, 10 divided by 100. What is this? B. Out of 4,65,000, 50 divided by 100. What is this? C, standard quantity. Easy enough. But they calculated not equating 100, equating 90. It means they're directly calculating for this 4,18,500. Why? Because same logic. 100 input, 10 loss, 90 output. For 90 equivalent to 4,18,500 kgs. I want for 40 kgs. I want for 10 kgs. I want for 50 kgs. Clear? You can use any of the logic. The only thing is you have to understand the subject first. If you know the subject, you can do anything. If it is an input point of view, you can apply direct percentage. If it is not input point of view, go with a proportionate. Are you okay? What is the problem number, ma? Cost card, materials, standard quantity, standard price, actual quantity, actual price, revised standard quantity. Now observe how I drafting the cost card, how I posting the values. Okay, there is a no proper order. Based on information only I will posting, but the format is fixed. Types of material A, B, C. The total ABC is known as what, ma? Inputs we used. Out of inputs there is a chance of loss. After removing the loss, what you will get, ma? Output. What output, ma? Standard output or actual output? Actual output. We have to figure out where is the actual output. What is the actual output? 18,000. 4,18,500. Are you okay? Now post what are the values you identified. Standard price is there, ma? Now standard price please. 76, 50, 20. Actual quantity 1,85,000 kgs. 1 lakh. 42,000. Next 2,25,000 kg. Actual price, ma? 80, 52, 21. Can I figure out revised standard quantity? No. If you want to find out revised standard quantity, you want actual input. Actual input is possible, huh? Sum of ABC actual quantity is known as actual input. సార్ బుక్లో సొల్యూషన్ డిఫరెంట్గా ఉంటుంది, నా సొల్యూషన్ డిఫరెంట్గా ఉంటుంది. బుక్లో ఫాలో అవ్వద్దు అసలు. బుక్లో క్వశ్చన్స్ మాత్రమే. దిస్ ఇస్ ద సింప్లెస్ట్ అండ్ ఈజీ వే. 4,62,500 kgs. What about the actual output? The gap is known as loss. What is the loss? There is no use for loss, ma. We are not using anywhere in the calculation loss. Okay, just for calculation of standard quantity purpose only we are using this table. Loss is not using here anywhere. Now the point standard quantity calculation. Now the point is this is 40, 10, 50. It means how many inputs used? 100. Out of that 10 is loss, 90. Okay, now the first I am calculating standard input for what output, ma? Actual output. Now how to calculate this, ma? 4,18,500 into this I am find outing. What input it is? Standard input. For what output? Clear? That's why first of all I recorded actual output. Are you okay? Now 90. Now the clarity calculation for 100 kgs of raw material, 90 kgs of output for 4,18,500 kgs of output. How many kgs is required? How much ma? 4 lakh. Now you have to post here 4,65,000 kgs. Now the difference between inputs and output is known as what ma? Loss. How much is the loss? 46,000. Input I know, proportions also I know. Input and proportion, can I get the values? Now standard quantity calculation please. 4,65,000 into 40 divided by 100. 1 lakh kgs. 4,65,000 into 10 divided by 100. 4,65,000 into 50 divided by 100. 2 lakh. This is the way to fill the cost card. Are you clear? For standard quantity calculation, alternative also there. What is the alternative? Instead of 4,65,000, go with the 4,18,500. At that time, 4,18,500 into 40 divided by 90, 10 divided by 90, 50 divided by 90. Are you okay? So this is the uniformity I following for all problems. We will figure out input. We will apply ratio on inputs. You will get a standard quantity. How I get an input calculation? How I get input calculation? With the help of proportion of input loss output values. This is not, then not ఇది వాడు ఇవ్వాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, కామన్ సెన్స్ ఇది. ఇన్పుట్ 100 అయితే దాంట్లో లాస్ తీసేస్తే మిగిలేదే అవుట్పుట్. లాస్ ఇస్తే చాలాడు. క్లియర్ సార్? Revise standard quantity please. Actual input how much? So student will did a mistake here. They will consider actual output. No. Here you have to consider actual input in standard mix. Actual input in standard mix. What is the actual input? 500 into what is the standard mix? You can take 40%, 10%, 50%. Instead of that, you can take 1,86,000 divided by 4,65,000. That also shows 40% only. Proportion. Clear? Now, 40%. Answer? $4,62,500 into 10%. Sir, percentage is possible, go with the percentage. If percentage is not possible, go with the proportion values. 4,62,500 into 50%. 31,000. Total. Don't total. Input total is nothing but this proportion total. What is the input of actual? Same only, na? దాన్నే మనం రివైజ్ చేసినాం, అదే వస్తుంది ఆన్సర్. ద యాక్చువల్ ఈస్ రాంగ్ మిక్స్, ద రివైజ్ స్టాండర్డ్ కౌంట్ ఈస్ రైట్ మిక్స్. అది క్లియరా? సో జనరలీ యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఫాలో 40% ఆఫ్ మెటీరియల్ ఏ, 10% ఆఫ్ మెటీరియల్ బి, 50% ఆఫ్ మెటీరియల్ సి. బట్ యూ మిక్స్డ్ రాంగ్లీ. 1,95,000 divided by 4,62,500. 1,95,000 divided by 4,62,500 into 100. Into 100 pay. Generally you have to mix 40%. How much you mixing? 42 point something. That's why the mix variances came. Are you clear? Next, B, you have to follow 10% proportion. But how much you followed means 42,500 divided by 4,62,500 into 100. Wrong mix only, na? Wrong mix only, na? Next, C, you have to follow 50% proportion. But how much is the actual? 2,25,000 divided by 4,62,500. What ma? Wrong mix only, na? Now the right mix is revised standard quantity. 40, 10, 50. Clear? Shall we? Material cost variance. Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. I will write only answers. Please tell me the A answer. A, B, C or only A? Only A. How much ma? Adverse or favorable? 1 lakh? 1 5? 15,000? Favorable? What about C? 75,000? Total? 14,64,000 plus 75,000 minus 1,15,000. What ma? 14 lakh 24,000 adverse. Wait, don't do anything. Sir, you to solve material price variance. You to solve material usage variance. You to solve material mix variance. A 7,80,000 adverse, 85,000 adverse, 2,25,000 adverse total. Eight lakh. How much more? Price variance total. 8 lakhs. 10 lakhs daatidra. What ma? 10,90,000. What ma? Mix variance. A ma? 13 13 lakhs. 31,250. Adverse or favorable? B. C. 8 lakh. Net 4,73,000. Yield variance. Sir, usage. Sir, ఆవేశ పడకుండా A 6,84,000 watt. B. Adverse. C. 50,000. Net 6 lakh. Adverse. Yield variance plus anyone? మిస్టేక్స్ వచ్చినట్టు మూతి బాల్ కొడతావు ఒకరికి. కరెక్ట్ ఓన్లీనా? గుడ్. Yield variance they are doing. A 76,000. B. C. Net చూసా సూపర్ రా. Now go with the reconciliation. What is the reconciliation? Usage plus price is known as cost. Check. 10,90,000 plus 6,34,000. 10,90,000 plus 6,34,000. Who did mistake? 10,90,000 plus 6,30,000. యూసేజ్ వేరియన్స్ చేసిన వాళ్ళు ఎవర్రా? నువ్వేం చేస్తున్నావు? నిద్రపోతున్నారేంటి? చెక్ అండ్ టెల్ మీ ద యూసేజ్ వేరియన్సెస్ మా. ఏ చూసి చెప్పు చాలు. ఏ 6,84,000. నీ తలకాయ సార్. 1,50,000 ఫేవర్ 1,50,000 ఫేవరబుల్ అయితే అడ్వర్స్ రాశారు సార్. ఎస్ ఏంట్రా? So if you do this kind of mistakes in this problem, you will lose 7 marks. చిన్న మిస్టేక్ 7 మార్క్స్ ఈ చాప్టర్లో. That's why I explained with concept point of adverse favorable instead of calculation. So this is not adverse, this is favorable. Now the answer is 3 lakhs, 34,000 adverse. Now see ma, 10,90,000 plus 3,34,000 adverse, 14,24,000. Okay. Next when come to the next reconciliation, mix plus yield equal to usage. 4,73,750 plus minus 1,13,500. మిస్టేకా? వాటేంట్రా? ఈ రెండు కలిపితే యూసేజ్ రావాలి. రాలేదా? నువ్వు చెప్పు వచ్చిందో రాలేదో. 4,73,750 మైనస్ 1,13,500, 3,34,000 వచ్చిందా? ఇప్పుడు మిక్స్ వేరియన్స్ చేసిన వాళ్ళు ఎవరు? మీరు. చెక్ చేద్దాం. 7,60,000 కరెక్ట్ ఓనేనా? బట్ దే సెడ్ రాంగ్. 1,87,500 రాంగ్. 1,25,000. ఓకే. మెటీరియల్ ఈల్డ్ వేరియన్స్ కూడా వాళ్ళే చేశారా? 76,000 ఫేవరబుల్, 12,500 ఫేవరబుల్, 25,000 ఫేవరబుల్. కరెక్ట్ కరెక్ట్ కరెక్ట్. వై దిస్ రాంగ్? Tell me the material mix variance ma, don't do mistakes. 7,60,000 adverse, 1,87,500 favorable. C 1,25,000 net, 4 lakh what adverse. Now reconciliation please. Clear up? If reconciliation is not done, you did a mistake. Which one? Okay. Clear ma? The next one ma, illustration number 30, homework ma. Put a 10 star for that. Expected question for next attempt. Don't see book, it means solution, just based on question only how to answer. Sir, budgetary control problem solved. Where is the notes? Tomorrow. నవ్వినంత మంచోని కాదు. So tomorrow I will check 2 problems, budgetary control problem and this one. Okay, thank you.